Bionicle Legends 7, Prisoners of the Pit. Written by Greg Farshidi. Recording by Joe 14, aka Infinite Inspiration Zero. Chapter 5. Toa Nuparu had discovered a little corner of paradise beneath the sea. He, Hyuki, and Holly had split up to search for the Mask of Life. Nuparu had found no sign of that, but he had stumbled upon a cavern full of treasures. When Holly and Hyuki found him, he was busily testing out a multi-barreled weapon that looked like something that would be mounted on an airship. "Nuparu, what are you doing?" Hyuki demanded. The Toa of Earth turned, startled, and accidentally hit the weapon control. A mini-rocket blasted from the launcher, hitting the cave wall right next to Hyuki and blowing a hole in it. The Toa of Stone barely got out of the way in time. Sorry," said Nuparu. "You shouldn't sneak up on people like that." "Says the Toa wearing a mask of stealth," Hyuki grumbled. "What is all this? Planning to start a war?" "No," said Nuparu. "Just planning to still be around when it's over." The three Toa ran into Jaller and Kongu on the way back to Marinui. None of them had seen any sign of the mask or had spotted Baraki during their search. But a large Takia shark with a damaged dorsal fin had been shadowing them since they reunited. The Hana crab that was still following along behind Jaller bristled at the sight of the predator. Nuparu and Hyuki had brought a load of the weapons from the cave. The inscriptions on the side of them read, "Kordak Revolving Blaster." No one had a clue who had made them, but since Kordak was a Matoran word meaning desolation, it wasn't hard to guess their intended use. Kongu immediately took two. When the others gave him questioning looks, he simply said, "2 hands." They expected to find Matoro waiting for them in Marinui. Instead, they were met by a hail of solidified air bubbles from the city's defenses. Defilak stood by the launchers, saying, "Turn back! We have no need for ever-friends of the Baraki here." "All right," Jaller said to the others. "We don't have time for this. Hyuki, you and I will take out the launchers, and the rest of you—" "I know an easier way," Holly cut in. "Kongu, use your power. Make the air inside that bubble shove him out of it." "What good'll that do?" asked Kongu. "He has a personal air bubble around him, so he can breathe in the water. He'll just swim back into the city." Holly smiled. "Oh, no, he won't. Do it." Kongu summoned his elemental control of air, creating a hurricane force wind inside the air bubble directed just at Defilak. Before the Lee Matoran could grab onto anything, he had been flung out of the protective bubble and into the ocean. Holly shot forward and began swimming in a circle around the Matoran, faster and faster, until the force of the whirlpool had stripped his air bubble away. All Defilak had left was the air in his lungs, and even that would not last long in the vacuum Holly was creating. Then the world abruptly stopped spinning. A strong arm grabbed him and hurled him back inside the city's protective bubble. It belonged to Holly, who now hovered in front of the launchers as if daring the villagers to shoot. "You see, if I wanted you dead, you would be dead. I don't. Neither do my friends. We'd like to help, if you would just stop shooting at us long enough to let us do it." "Why should I faith trust you?" said Defilak. "Nothing in the pit can be trusted." "I am not of the pit," said Holly. "I am of the sea. It belongs to me, not to the Baraki or their servants, and through me, the sea belongs to you, too." Defilak looked into the eyes of the Toa of Water. The decision he was about to make would change the future of Marinui, for good or ill. "Very well. We will lower our weapons. For now. But how will you help us?" "The Baraki have something that belongs to us," said Jaller. "We are going to get it back. And they're going to resist. Which is just too bad for them," said Hyuki. "Give us a hand, and maybe you'll have 6 less Baraki to worry about when it's all over." When Holly spoke again, it was more gently, as she remembered the valiant Matoran of Voinui. "Once that's done, there's some other friends you might want to meet. I know they will want to meet you." "If you are what you say you are, we have much to discuss," Defalac said. "But first, we will need to find your other companion. He quick fled into the Blackwater and never returned. But with luck, maybe there's still a body left to recover." Hovering in the shadow waters nearby, Maxilos Makuta smiled at his Toa companion. "How sweet, Matoro," he said. "They are willing to spare a moment to recover your corpse." "Shut up. Perhaps we should swim over there and tell them reports of your death are premature. But not a word about who inhabits this crimson shell, and you know what I can do to your friends, if I so choose." Matoro looked into the dead eyes of the robotic Maxilos. It was hard to believe a being of ultimate evil hid inside that crude mechanical body. Why are you doing this to me?" "Isn't it obvious? It's because you're so good at keeping secrets." Far below, Nocturne had finally grown tired of staring at, handling, and tossing and catching the strange mask the Baraki had left with him. He could tell from the activity in the water around him that Alek and the other Baraki were planning something. Sharks and eels and squid and rays were darting every which way, getting themselves ready for action. He wished he was with them, tearing and rending and destroying enemies, always a cure for boredom. Frustrated, he tossed the mask aside. It landed in the center of the razor whale's teeth and settled into the soft sand. Nocturne reached out to grab a passing mudfish, looking forward to the sound it made when crushed. To his disappointment, the second he touched it, the fish died. Puzzled, he tried again, only to find the same result. At first, it was sort of exciting. After all, he was now assured an endless supply of easily caught food. But somehow, it was less satisfying when they didn't put up a fight, when the life just drained out of them in an instant. So engrossed was Nocturne in his newfound ability that he stopped paying attention to the mask. He never noticed when a tiny blue sea creature crawled underneath the mask of life, seeking shelter. Nor did he see the flare of energy from the mask when the little organism, called a gadunka, brushed against it. By the time he turned to the mask, the damage was done. Nocturne wasn't sure whether to be angry, pleased, or fearful about this new death touch he had acquired. He decided it would be best to go ask Alek about it. And, if he ran into Prydak on the way, maybe Nocturne would shake his hand. He picked up the Mask of Life and left in search of the Baraki. Behind him, the little Gadunka was already beginning to grow. The 5 Toa enjoyed a brief, if happy, reunion with Matoro. If they were curious about his chilly attitude when introducing their new ally, Maxilos, they didn't comment on it. There wasn't time to worry about the Toa Vice's moods, not with the Mask of Life to find and an entire ocean to search. It was Maxilos who suggested the Toa would be better served by splitting up. Matoro started to object, then apparently thought better of the idea. Feeling it would be best that no one travel alone, Jaller suggested he would team up with Kongu, Hyuki with Nuparu, and Holly with Matoro and Maxilos. "That's all right," the Toa of Water said. "I will move faster on my own. After all, I'm more at home here than any of you." As they double-checked their weapons, Defalac swam near. "Perhaps living so long in this night-black water has made us see only darkness in others," he said. "If you are truly about to face great trouble danger on behalf of Mari Nui, we would be honored to call you Toa Mari." Not so very long ago, the Toa Inika had been Matoran. They had met Toa who had come to their island and placed their faith and trust in those heroes. Their faith had been rewarded. Now, it was their turn to protect a village of Matoran who were relying upon them. It was Matoro who finally put what they were all feeling into words. "The honor is ours, Defalac," he said. "We'll try to prove worthy of your trust." "Oh, yes," thought Makuta, master of shadows in the body of Maxilos. "Indeed we will." End of chapter 5.